now buried deep, begin to weep. Built a castle on illusions, watching it decay. Delusions of grandeur, crumbling day by day. Raging in the mirror, fists against the glass, can't face the shattered pieces of a tarnished past. Betrayal in the air, well, it thickens like a brew. Every friendly smile turning coldly into two. Specters of detractors celebrating in the night, falling from the pedestal in an endless flight. Everyone's abandoning the sinking ship so fast, losing grip on reality, can't outrun the past. Anger is a wildfire burning through his veins, staring at the sky, screaming out in vain. Crowd of traitors gathering, and they want the throne, while he's left clutching to fantasies alone. Dreams of grandeur broken, scattered on the floor. Reality's a prison with no exit door. Angry eyes searching for someone to blame, but it's just reflections twisting in the shame. Specters of detractors celebrating in the night, falling from the pedestal in endless flight. Everyone's abandoning the sinking ship so fast, losing grip on reality, can't outrun the
In the heart of the cold, dark north, where secrets twist and shadows morph, the stalker's eyes, they're fixated still. On the screens he conquers at his will. He's Derek, not Derek, you better know. Demanding respect in whispers low. With each click, his world does spin. In a web of lust he's drowning in. Buffalo Bill with a twisted thrill. Online whispers, they're haunting still. With each click, his world does spin. In a web of lust he's drowning in. Buffalo Bill with a twisted thrill. Online whispers, they're haunting still. Cyber jungle, he prowls at night. Cameras live under neon light. He's a phantom in the digital air, plucking nerves and pulling hair. Dangerous offender caught in a spree. His heart's a cage, but he holds the key. Derek IP with a darkened soul. Emptiness swallows him whole. Threads of desire tightly wound. In an abyss he's deeply bound. He stalks like shadows, never sleep. In the silence secrets keep. Through the screens he's walking tall. Mind a prison with no wall.
threads of desire tying me wound, and an abyss sees deeply bound. He stalks like shadows never sleep. In the silence secrets keep. Through the screens he's walking tall, mind a prison with no wall. Darkness forces rise, shadows whisper broken ties. Dashed by a rose's words like knives. Dark side Phil won't survive. In the back room cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. Tractor wins without a sound. Dashed by flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the back room, cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. The tractor wins without a sound. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the night, the battle's fought. Dark side Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback loop of endless rage. Phil's stuck inside his cage. Dash fire writes another page. The tractor rocks the stage. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the back room cries echo loud. He's a king without a crown. Phil's fortress is burning down. The tractor wins without a sound. Dash fire's flames can't be tamed. Phil's excuses are all the same. Tears fall, but who's to blame? Dash fire keeps playing the game. In the night, the battle's fought. Dark side Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback loop of endless rage. Phil's stuck, Phil's plans will rot. Words cut deeper than a shot. Dash fire's too hot. Feedback. Control the haters, the algorithms are rigged. But truth is hard, a bitter pill, a consequence unfig. He built his throne on lies, on curated, kept the scam down. Dash fire's burning bright, exposing all the shams. Crash out, king, your reign is done. The empire's crumbling down. Dash fire's lit the match. The fire's spreading through the town. No more painted bodies, no more crocodile tears. The reckoning is here, filled by all these wasted years. Crash out, king, your pockets bleed. Your image in the dirt. You built your castle on sand, and now it's getting hurt. So scream and rage and bend. It won't change what's been shown. Your lies are unraveling, your true colors have grown.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? We are at the season finale of the Robust podcast. We've had a great time so far. Audio is skipping. What do you mean audio is skipping? Is my audio good now? Or maybe that was just the music at the start? What's going on, Glitter Fart? What's going on, Medusa? What is going on, Game Master? What is going on, Soul Jaw? Fun times. I'm not wearing a diaper. Look at the knee. There is no diaper on it. No, never a diaper. Never a diaper. Hey guys, just to let you know, I released a DSP Weekend Review on Sunday, and it was awesome. I did Robust Podcast last week with Mr. Ludacris, which was awesome. So we're doing some awesome stuff. So go check those out if you haven't already. On Kick, there's channel points, there's emojis. DSP Alien, Angry Cat, Bad Moments Reacts logo. We hit level 1 with followers. Thank you for that. 8 more followers, and we're at level 2, something DSB could never, ever accomplish. And also, on Kick, if you sub or gift a sub, a single sub, not 10, not 20, just a single sub, you can get the OG and VIP badge. Test, test. Big up Stash and Nano. Is my stuff working? I hope it's working. My stuff looks like it's working. Can you guys hear me? Looks like everything's good on my end. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, good. Thank you. I almost had a heart attack there. I was like, oh no, not another disaster stream on the season finale. You sons of bitches. You got me, you sons of bitches. I love you guys. YouTube, still trying to get channel points. Haven't really looked into it. 38 away from the sub goal on Twitch. New follower. Thank you to WWE Figure God. We have channel points on Twitch. 2 away from the goal. So if you have a Twitch account, go follow me on that. Also, I'm just saying, if you have a Prime sub, you can throw it my way. And then we're going to start off today, though, looking at, if I can click the right thing, we're going to look at some of these here where we got some bands, gone forever from today. And we have, nothing here, but Phil wears diapers and has baby arms. We have Hulk Huggies Real. Let's get that 6-star diaper, brother. We have Fox Die, you declawed your cat, bitch. I don't care about the trolls at all. 50% of his content. Bag, Mr. Successful. Bag, Mr. Successful. Bag. Oh, Darkside Bird Real. That's a friend of the channel right there. DSP Gaming Real. Pull up the picture of you wearing a diaper and tell us what it is then. How many kgs does your wife weigh? We have Hand Tappin' Darren. Nice, that's $45 markup per pack for you. Good little earner, plus the price of the cars themselves. Cool. Bro, stop talking shit. Oh. Thank you for whoever followed. I heard he had a mega crash out over the diaper memes. Oh, he did. Bro, stop talking shit.
Home.
Glitter_fart is now following on Twitch.
Oh, thank you, Glitter. Thank you for that. That means we're 1 away from the goal then. Thank you so much for that, Glitter. I don't know why it was so delayed with the announcement there. Bro, stop talking shit about PS5. Excuse you. What, you disgusting pig? Turn your head and burp the other way. Not in the mic, you fat cunt. You do that in interviews. Wings to Dark Side. I wonder why you got banned, bro. Okay, so that is it for now. Prime sub first. Oh, nice. Oh, did you give me a Prime sub? Thank you for that, my friend. Oh, thank you. So now, let's get the man of the hour on the line here. If I don't mess this up. And let's get JG on here. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Good. Nice. Oh,
I
everyone's
was trying to
excited
make sure
for
I
you
had
too.
the right headset on, just because obviously this is a tremendous moment. This is our first time chatting.
Oh yeah, not only that, you are the guest on the season finale here too. And we've always interacted on Twitter, but never voice to voice like this. So this is fun. It'll be a good time.
Indeed. Hope you're having a good day. Hopefully, the Pokemon card rips are treating you well.
Oh yeah, all the Pokemon and the Huggies and all that.
My goodness, the diapers, Diapergate. I didn't expect that in 2026, to be quite honest.
Well, all the signs were there. His scat talk about all this other stuff. You knew eventually it was going to lead there. And you know what the really funny part is? I kept asking people in the past, do you think he chose the wrong sister? Because if you know about the diaper stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that offhand, about the other sister or the sister-in-law, and And if you know, you know. It's you don't want to look it up, but it's there.
Yeah. So, when did you start actually discovering DSP?
We're going all the way back.
Oh yeah,
Well, I'll give you my origin story. It actually came from a coworker. This is way back in 2010.
that
It's been
son
a
of a
very long
bitch.
time. Well, he was actually a member in the FGC,
Oh,
and
okay.
we worked together on Saturdays at the time, and it was pretty dead on Saturdays, which we kind of liked. And typically he would have a computer on the side, and one summer in 2010 he had Evo up. I had no idea what that was, and I was like, "Hey man, what is this?" I mean, typically streaming on the side is something you do to pass the time when it's pretty quiet. And he was explaining to me Evo, the FGC. The person he kept talking about the most was Justin Wong because he had a chance to match up with him once, and it all was fine and dandy from there. And then eventually he kind of paused and said, "Let me tell you about this one SOB." And he said it was Darkside Phil, and I was like, "Darkside Phil? Well, what? Why don't you like this guy?" And he basically said he was arrogant, loudmouth. And I was kind of thinking before getting on here tonight because I suspected you might ask this. About the origin story. I should have reached out to him and find out if he ever matched up or met with him in person during his FGC days. But it's something I'll have to ask him later tonight or tomorrow maybe. But yeah, basically he told me about Phil, and I looked him up, and I was like, wow, this is all garbage. It's crappy camcorders and pretty much arrogant and annoying. Though I would have to say though his content was probably a little more real back then because he was probably intoxicated and playing games pretty poorly. But that's how I learned of Phil, and I basically just kind of watched on and off bits and pieces. So I didn't really pay too much close attention until closer to the 2016-2017 era, really, when the financial stuff was really kicking in, and it was just like, how are you broke? How are you behind on your taxes? What's going on?
Yeah, because it always rings bells. It's like you're making all this money, you're successful, yet you have no money to pay your bills, and you're begging for people for money online. So something's not adding up there.
Well, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, I think it was like I said, that I really paid more closer attention once the money stuff came up because it's fascinating. Like, how are you broke? But there were other moments prior. But I remember, I think it was November 2017 is when we started to really kind of hear about Save the House, or guys, I owe something like $17,000 in back taxes in November 2017 or so, I want to say. Or he's talking about tax bills. He's running marathons all the time. It's like, guys, I don't have any money. We need money. And it's like, we can save the house. We can save the business. And it was pretty amazing. And, it was true that it was exposed that this guy had no money, but it wasn't necessarily an income issue. It was more of a spending issue in hindsight.
And speaking of money, thank you, H Bomb, for becoming a member Argentina style plan. And it's amazing how back in the day, he had so many emergency videos where you were responsible for paying his bills.
Yeah, that was pretty wild how many times this guy was running those videos. I can remember some of the SOK videos back in the day where those videos could be like 30 minutes or so, or 40 minutes, and then they'll turn into like a 4-hour marathon of just every inch. You couldn't get it took hours to get through those, but I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is really crazy. And I think that's when I started to pay attention to him a little bit closer. Is like, all these people are just throwing ridiculous amounts of cash at you, especially when you think about Emerald 7 and King Tut and all these other guys. And then it's just, you owe this much money in taxes. That means you have a heck of an income. Where's the money? You know? Where's the money, Lebowski?
Why do you think those people actually wail out on Phil? What's your
That's
theory on that?
isn't that the greatest question, isn't it?
Because every time I keep thinking, like, why does Timbo go bankrupt 3 times for Phil? Why does ICS or OIC spend all this money on him? and you see the same names, Princess Luna, which could be the same person under different socks. But every single stream is the same people over and over and over.
I've always wondered that, and I speculate publicly sometimes on Twitter. I think there's different generations in the Phil money dumps. I do believe that there are some individuals still floating around from long ago. I mean, we have Jax, we have Guitar Player, Game Trekker. I'm fairly confident Game Trekker's still around. He might be some of those anonymouses. Um, we have probably even Planet Jeff still floating around quietly. But it's a different era when he had a larger fan base that he could tap and, cry and plead, "Oh, I'm hurting." Oh, those mean trolls. Back when he also used to have like one enemy. How many times did he used to say, "Oh, that dirty Tevin, that dirty feller there, he's evil." And then the
That
SOK,
criminal.
he had a
Yeah.
yeah, he had a bully, evil AJ. That was his target. He always wants the focus, and at the time, I think people just bought into the David versus Goliath. I'm going to fight the trolls, and there could be various reasons. But I do think he probably did have more fans back then that he could get more cash out of, and there were probably some that just had deeper pockets. But I think as he's gone and done things over the years, where people viewed scams like the Jasper reveal, which is absolutely ridiculous. You charged $1,000 plus the random thousand that appeared to show your cat. I think that turned people off. Or you lied about the marriage, claiming your parents were going to pass. I mean, they're still alive. What is it, 7 years later? And I think this started to weed down some of his existing donors and givers. So now it's forcing more pressure on this smaller group of core people, legacy dents, I'll call them. Now, the current ones, this is just bizarre. When you see those crazy dumps of cash, it's like, why? Why are you doing this? And the best I can come up with that I've thrown out on Twitter or X is basically there's some sort of weird cultivated parasocial findom relationships. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Why does ICS do this? Why is Timbo doing this still? Well, he's probably a legacy dent. But some of these guys, it doesn't make any sense. The content is crap.
Well, we have a glitter part in the chat, money laundry or dark web shit. Aloof, it's a minor cult. We have wasting their money to make a loser look successful. That's another thing is a lot of them are failed streamers too. So for some weird twisted way, they try to get clout off of Phil for their like very, very, very small channel that they think will be revived.
I've seen that. I believe Guitar Player was well, he's kind of I consider him more of a legacy dent, but I think he was a failed streamer. Who else was there? Your future stepdad, I think, was found to be a failed streamer,
I think on
and he
Kick,
gives
yeah.
money. Yeah, but he's not really doing too well anymore. His income dumping to Phil has kind of tapered off quite a bit, so I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe he's running out of money, or who knows. But there's other ones too. There's definitely other failed streamers in there. That's a weird one, but that's definitely a contributor, I believe, that some of them give money for attention, but then they find out the attention's pretty negative.
Yeah, if you look at all the people that tried to clout off of Phil, even like Jay Hayes this year, that was probably one of the worst things he could have done because he antagonized the trolls. He gave Phil thousands of dollars and then said, "See, I can succeed on my own," and try to get them to come to his streams to talk and find his lifestyle. And look where he's at right now.
Yeah, Jay Hayes was a weird one. There was some weird stuff regarding the passing of a child and just kind of saying on stream whatever, and I was like, really? I thought that was really bizarre for him, for any parent to say something like that. Um, which I don't know what to make of that, but yeah, he dumped easily
At least in
almost
one
two
stream was a
thousand
thousand,
dollars.
yeah. Because it was the
Yeah,
oh, what was it? The JRPG game he was playing,
Dragon Quest,
Dragon Quest. Yeah, he did 1,000 just on that one stream alone. Because people kept
and
saying,
then
I bet you won't do any more. I bet you won't do any more."
it was funny. He just kept wasting money, just dump, and eventually DSP just banned him, and I thought that was really odd.
We have B. Murr, big fan of the weekly track in J and On.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hayes was sending money to Phil to get it back later. He admitted to it. Well, I didn't see that. Insurance money he didn't want the ex-wife to get. Huh. Interesting.
He's divorced?
Apparently. I didn't see that, but I believe it.
I didn't dig too much deeper. I remember watching the stream where a bunch of trolls were in there and trying to antagonize him, and some of them were saying something about a daughter that had passed, and then he was just like, "Ah, whatever." And I'm like, I don't know. It kind of got dark, and I was like, man, I don't know what's up with this dude. And I kind of was like, okay. And then eventually he kind of tapered off because he didn't, as you kind of mentioned, he didn't get the attention he wanted. Didn't work out too well.
And then he did a channel strike on Duty. Oh, that's a good way to get people to hate you. Even if you don't agree with Duty, striking people is probably not the best way to go. I think he did to Ames too. Yeah, because
Yes,
Ames was on his stream and he's like, he was showing off the strike and they were arguing back and forth of how to take it off and stuff.
he did release it if I remember. I do recall that he released the both for both of them. He did release it, and I think they removed the videos, but that's just abuse of the copyright system because it was transformative work. You just didn't like what they had to say.
Yeah, and again, you do stuff like that, one will want to work with you.
Pretty much. It was, and now he's kind of vanished. I don't think he's ever appeared again. So I think he realized the whole endeavor and money was totally wasted at this point.
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
people
he's
too,
done.
yeah, who come into the DSP verse, spend all this money thinking they're going to revive their career or get their career going, and then they realize after a while people stop caring. Like a certain Canadian over there on the island that I shall not name, but they're eventually your appeal goes down and people stop caring and they don't get it. So people like Timbo, who's a failed streamer as well, keeps going, I'm going to give him money. I'm going to go under all other sock accounts, make sure he looks successful. And then before you know it, 3 bankruptcies later.
He's working on the fourth one. We're gonna get there.
Well,
I
the,
believe it.
the funny thing is, so I did a stream on it. So his third bankruptcy got approved on March 2026. If you look at after that, he starts wailing out like crazy. It's almost like he didn't learn after 3.
Yeah, well, approved March 2026, or was it a little earlier than that? I'm trying to or do you mean it was finished?
It was finalized, yeah.
'Cause I know it was finished, so he did conclude it. But the interesting, I think, is his bankruptcy, the second or no, the third one, the third one. Wow, you don't think of people. I think that one wasn't a chapter 7. I think that was a 13. And the difference being a 13, the courts are going to force you to pay your debts back. So that's the one Phil probably didn't want in 2020 because could you imagine if the court said, "Sorry, Phil, you're going to have to pay back that $231,000." He would have probably not liked that.
He'd be like, guys, guess what? There's an emergency. We have to do a fundraiser right now.
Oh, it'd probably be monthly. Now, guys, as you can see, those nudniks at the court system say I gotta pay X amount of back. We gotta smash the goal, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, and then when we went over Timbo on the stream, we went through how he had to take classes for financial help and planning and all that, and he's still giving money to Phil.
Oh yeah, that because I honestly never learned much about. I didn't know much about bankruptcy before until Phil went bankrupt, and I learned that the federal courts mandate you must go through financial literacy courses every time. But it's just like, wow, Timbo, congrats.
Well,
3 filings?
the weirdest part though is so DSP did his bankruptcy in 2020. Timbo did his
Yes.
first one in 2020 at the same time. So he was wailing on Phil, who's going through bankruptcy, but Timbo was also going through bankruptcy as well.
Bankrupt brothers.
Yeah.
But Phil got really lucky though, I think, because when I think back to his bankruptcy, he got saved by the I do believe he was saved by the pandemic because a lot of especially in more bluish states like Washington and Seattle-ish areas you're talking about, areas that took the pandemic regulations much more seriously. Well, not, I don't want to say seriously, but had much more. What word you would describe for that? More regulations or requirements to operate.
Yeah, that's about right.
So with that level of stuff happening, stay-at-home orders, I think we're finally starting to get issued when he filed initially. You couldn't have a functioning court system to have someone really confirm what was real, what wasn't. Because I'm pretty sure they would have probably said, let's check that property out. Let's see what's really happening here. Because the values were so weird that were put down. And I think everyone had a good laugh when they saw the initial documents drop at the end of January 2020. Because when you looked at them, it's like, you have no personal electronics. You buy pet food, but you don't have a pet. It, these holes, I'm not a lawyer, but I think anyone looking at that would be like, that's kind of sus.
And I believe month to month, he said he made like between his debts and what he made like $15 overall. So how do you live on $15 a month?
Yeah, you don't. I remember looking at that and then the business expenses and everything. It's like this is impossible. Like no one was like, "Are you sure? How is this possible?" It didn't make any sense. And I'm pretty sure he just got lucky that frankly the most of the court systems in Seattle, Washington just weren't functioning properly. You couldn't have anything really checked out. So that's why, people talk about bankruptcy 2.0. I believe we're on that path. It's just if the record holds, every time he files bankruptcy, we're going to have a global pandemic. So I don't know.
That is true. It's the DSP curse. But the
Yeah, it
interesting
could be
thing about
because
that too,
he's
so he did it in
hmm
2020. I think he got to
hmm
chapter 13, which means he has a
17 or no 7, chapter 7. Sorry.
chapter 7, which means I believe his bankruptcy period is up 2027, which is next year. So he can start getting stuff again because it was a 7-year wait.
Uh, yeah, it's most bankruptcies, if I recall, it's like 7 to 10 years to really get access to decent credit. You could still get access to credit. It's just typically the terms are pretty awful and the interest rates are ungodly terrible. But I mean, to probably get better access to credit, yeah, he's probably like, looking at the chops thinking, "Oh man, next year, next January, I'm going for it. Kat and I are going to get them credit cards." Unless he took one out under Kat's name, then shame on her because that was probably a mistake.
Now, can you imagine if it wasn't a pandemic and they did like a surprise house visit and they went into that closet with like all the collectibles, Lion King, Super Nintendo unwrapped, and all this other stuff? He would have been screwed so bad.
It
All the
would have
stuff
been
he said he didn't
interesting.
have.
Well, yeah, because he said he didn't have any collectibles. Nothing. It's like, come on, everyone has something. Everyone does something. I mean, I post on Twitter. I collect movies. I love movies, and I have that. I don't know if I consider it a collection. I'm more of a hobbyist. I just love movies I like. I like to get them on 4K. But yeah, he has all this stuff in his house, all this crap. But that would have probably stood out. Now, whether or not the courts would have bothered to see what they want to do with it, because obviously they would have to figure out how they can liquidate it. But it would have been interesting because they could have also assessed the property. Because I don't know where they pulled those numbers from that they put down on the bankruptcy documents I don't know if it was like some sort of Redfin listing or what. Because it didn't even seem to match up to the property tax records either. So I don't know where they cited it, but
Well, it's
I
weird
don't know
because
what he'll do for next one.
yeah,
Mhm.
because DSP would always say because people would ask him about that stuff not making sense on his bankruptcy, and he always goes, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't put the information on there. I just gave it to my tax person. They did it, or my lawyer or whatever."
I
But who gave that
I
information to
love
your
that,
lawyer, Phil?
Bill. That's crazy. That is the funniest thing when he says that because like, oh, I don't know. It's like he's trying to create what is it, plausible deniability? Like, oh, I didn't know. And if it's wrong, we can change it later. Well, if you said it was right the first time, then why do you need to change it later if you
Yeah.
got it right? But I think he did have to update it a couple times because there was like a missing account. I think people suspected there were multiple PayPal accounts, and that an additional account showed up, and then all this other stuff was updated. So it's pretty clear there was the trolls that were probably sending notices to the courts, probably suggesting fraudulent submissions. But unfortunately, I think there may have been some folks that were so over the top that it may have caused issues probably with the bankruptcy, I would probably say. So, that 341 call, if only Nancy, the trustee, could have said WWE champions, that would have been the
Hmm.
greatest moment. When she said WWE Network, you heard him go, what was that? Can you repeat that? And I'm like, he sounded like he was about to lose his mind.
Yeah, because he put down, I think on his business stuff, DLC for games. So I'm assuming he put WWE Champions as DLC, trying to like get it through there.
I kind of think that's possibly because he did say microtransact. I think he said microtransactions, if I recall.
Microtransactions and DLC.
Okay. So if that's it, and then that means he's trying to claim it as a business expense, then you would think then when Nancy had access to the tax records that those were showing up on the tax records as a business deduction. And if they are, then, and obviously we don't know. We don't have access to that. That could be, tax fraud because those were not business expenses
There's a lot of
because it
fraud
was
Phil
never
has
tax
done.
return. I mean, there's a lot of I would say questionable things. How about that?
Yes, very likely possible scenarios.
Yeah. Mm, interesting. But, I think the next bankruptcy will be more fascinating because his property value is so much higher now that I don't know what he's going to do because I know there's like a reserve for what you can keep without losing it. And hopefully there's no pandemic again. And then when they come out and check everything, they'd be like, well, Mr. Burnell, we'll give you a chapter 13 or we'll just take everything. Oh, no.
Now, good question here from Glitterfart. Ton of his anonymous donations are fake, but will he have to report them or say they are fake to the IRS?
See, that's a weird one to me is about the anonymous donations. We have no way of telling if they're real or not. And if he keeps on doing them and they are fake, he's creating a hole for himself financially because then he doesn't have that money. So he's actually making less money than he's saying. Now he could be for his ego because he wants to appear successful and all that. The other side, the flip side is there wouldn't be anything IRS related because it's just not real money. It's just him basically lying to people if they're fake. But there has been some odd drops lately, hasn't it? Especially last week, that one day, last Wednesday, I think it was, where there's like, here's eight hundred
500?
dollars.
Yeah.
What? Well, it was 500. Then I think it was 100, and then there was one person that did get attributed to 100. So $700 out of the blue from anonymous.
Yeah, it was, I think, one donation, one anonymous donation of $500.
Yeah, that kicked it off, and I remember his face. You see how happy he looked? See that's the one thing is his face. He had a big smile. I'm like, I think it was real because that looked genuine. Because I don't think he really smiles like that unless there's money involved and it's a lot of it coming his way. He's like, oh my god. I don't remember what that game was offhand. I don't know if it was. It probably was Pokemon.
Probably Pokemon or TCG.
Yeah, he's loving those Pokemon cards. That's for sure. Hmm.
Now, do you think he
Mm-mm-mm.
is buying all the stuff just to load it up before doing Bankruptcy 2.0?
The Pokemon cards?
Just basically everything in general, because he's spending like crazy on a lot of different stuff. His setup, Pokemon cards, all this stuff, all the expensive stuff.
Well, that's what's really interesting. So I have some numbers. Now I didn't do today's stream yet. So for June 2026, we have he's taken in through yesterday because I was trying to make sure I had this for today. Let me see, where did I put it? Doo-doo-doo. His raw haul of the direct support that we can see is about $9,633 before fees, of course. And that's through yesterday. After fees, it was about 8104. And I found that interesting. And the reason I found that interesting was because Most of that money is YouTube side. So, I know with you being on YouTube, you probably see you don't get that until a month delay. So a lot of this money is very, very much not accessible. But even for the accessible cash, basically kick weekly and tips, you're talking about roughly about 4,500 for the month. But he has probably spent, there's people talking, they think maybe $3,000 on all this Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, because I think I saw the last thing was like 3,200 that we know of, at least on stream.
Yeah, about $3,200 for probably Pokemon, just that alone. But he just said he bought a freezer, like a dedicated freezer. That might have been what, 500 bucks? And then he probably just bought that workout machine. I think someone suggested that could be about 700 to $1,000. And, some of this might be put on payment plans, maybe. That could help alleviate some of the stress, but I doubt it for the Pokemon stuff. Or does he says he gets them from the TCG card shop, right?
He
If I
says he gets
recall.
them from a few different places too.
Yeah, so maybe some of them allow payment plans, like through a firm or maybe using PayPal, because I think PayPal has like payment plan options as well, based on credit worthiness.
So I do have a theory
So,
because me and the audience were talking. I think I did a stream a couple weeks ago. We were watching a video and then they're talking about Amazon payment plans. Now, Amazon, just like Walmart and other places, also have third-party sellers on there. So scalpers and stuff, so inflated prices, but they sell through the website. So if they do Amazon payment plans and they get delivered there, you would actually be paying scalper prices on, let's say, 4 payments of whatever, which would then add up over time.
I would agree. And the thing is, the ones that are on Amazon, there are the dedicated Amazon payment plans where Amazon doesn't charge interest, but those only are permitted on sold uh, products sold and shipped by Amazon Direct. They do allow the third party sellers. However, you do have to use a firm, and a firm is basically you gotta they charge a nice fee. Uh, there's a pretty high interest rate on that stuff. So depending on your credit worthiness and everything, I'm pretty sure that he's probably using payment plans. And you know, if people use them responsibly, who cares, right? But he probably is stacking a lot of payment plans. So he's buying a lot of stuff. And but the amount of accessible cash doesn't seem to be adding up. So it's either it's going on payment plans, a credit card, or if he did have like a pot of cash, he's whittling it down as his access to accessible cash is constantly going down. So there's a lot of question marks to that, how he's able to afford all of it. But he says he's successful, so.
Well, still, to me, would rather look like a success than be a success because he can't let the detractors get a win. He can't let what they're saying be true.
So quartering style. They're very
Very
similar, they
well.
seem.
He saw his documentary. Now he's copying him.
Yeah, that Pokemon or the card grift is amazing what he's doing with that. That's the only thing he took away from it.
Now he's like, "Oh, he grifted that hard. I can do it better."
Yeah, he really is, but he's also milking these individuals for more money than is possible. Because if you really look at it, he was initially starting off with, oh, it's got to be 50 bucks one shot, and then suddenly it's turned into cumulative. But if you do 50, we'll get a pack, and then if we hit 100, 2 packs, and for every 50 after that, it's a pack, and if you do 250, it's a premium pack opening. It's like, my goodness, these sound like goals or excuse milestones. They're milestones.
Yeah, he now has quote unquote milestones, but also raised it from 150 to 250.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers why anyone thinks this is a great piece of content. And but the only people that can really afford to hit it are these whales. So he's just milking these individuals. If you look at all the smaller ones, they're not really coughing up cash anymore. And I've talked about that about economics is that in the US there's a lot of problems here economically. So think we're seeing the dolphins go extinct, and then the whales are just being forced to pick up more and more slack over time. But then eventually they run out of money too, you know?
Oh, and Thak has a in chat. Original idea was $100. Remember, he changed it within like 30 minutes to 50. Now it's back to 100 for altogether.
Yeah, it's wild how much this dude is pushing for these cards, but now he's missing goals more frequently. That I think that's the signal from the whales that we can't keep up with this.
So let's get into the January 2025 to 2026. I should have the screen shared with you.
I see it.
And then I think everyone on the stream should see it as well. So January 2025, and we can do this here. So in January, he had his DSP goes nuclear after the morning show. So we have raw total 10,099, fee adjusted 8,790. And then in 2026, we have I believe this is oh sorry, that was 2026. Oh, I just messed it up. What do you think about the numbers for January 25 to January 26?
Well, it's a pretty sharp decline. I think what we can see in those numbers is that we are in a state of basically a shifting of the cash. When you look at him, you can see that there's a very sharp decline in the way he was receiving money. So the tips had plummeted because that's used to be what he used to harp on. How many times was it? Now, guys, we just need to hit the tips goal, and it's $50 before the Keno Casino. Um, and then you also see he was getting flooded with kick subs in 2025, and everything else, you know, kind of went down. So there was like basically a shift of money from tips and kick subs to super chats. So the problem here is this is all because of his merge goal, basically. Since they can donate any way they wish, it's more money pushing into the YouTube side support, and because of that, it means more money being paid towards fees. When I calculate this out, I only do it at the base 30%, but the one thing I kind of point out to people is that there are also super chats that are calculated at about 51% fees, which are the mobile ones. And unfortunately, I don't have them broken down to that level, but rest assured that that number is fee adjusted should probably be a little lower, but this is just a rough estimate. And obviously this does include the stuff we can't see. But what we saw was a pretty sharp decline year over year using base numbers to assess fees. And I think moving forward throughout the year, and what we'll probably continue to see is more money shifting into platform-based support on YouTube, because that's probably very easy to manipulate with sock accounts, or excuse me, to donate with sock accounts versus the tips. And I also believe that these individuals, going back to why do people do it, there are probably some that just feel committed that they want to make the DSP feel like he's some sort of accomplished individual that is got a robust support base, and they'll pump up the sock accounts to give him money, because nothing says amazing like some random account from appearing out of the blue saying, oh, Phil, I loved your Heavy Rain playthrough, here's $100, and you'll never see that account again, sort of thing. So, but that's kind of the thing we started to see in 2026 here, is that more money is funneling in through YouTube based support and away from tips and kick support, because the kick audience seems to be just gone. And that's what we're seeing in January, basically. And that's what we will continue to see throughout the year.
Also, I want to point out January 2025, there was no kick bits. So that might play a little plan into 2026 as well. And as well, so 2025, at the beginning of the year, was the Rageathon for Mega Man. And the next one is going to be March. I don't think he had anything in February in 2025. I think that's when he skipped his football thing.
You mean Begathons?
Yeah, so I think he
Or
skipped it in February,
you mean 2026 or
2025.
let me check. I think he had a
Unless he didn't leave it up.
He had a oh, in 2025 he had, oh my gosh, where's it at? I saved it. Doo doo doo.
The Five Nights
Oh,
at
that was the
Oh
100
no.
that was the 100 goals rum cake begathon. That
Oh
was on February
yeah.
7th. That's where I think someone who basically bounced that went over to the Kino Casino after everything bought him a rum cake if they hit 100 goals. And that was the whole begathon.
So
That was
that
on
was
February 7th, 2025. Yeah.
so then in 2026, he had his February Game and Marathon, Football, Booze, Love, Games, and All Day Fun, February 6th. Plus, also, he had February 25th, Switch 2 controller unboxing and test. And then you play a bunch of games, chill with Phil. So, what can we see here from February 2025 versus 2026?
Well, we're seeing a much more sharper decline here. The one thing that we can definitely see is that the kick support has more or less started to collapse, and the super chats being king here, tips have collapsed as well. And realistically, January and February were disasters for Phil year over year for money. It was pretty much he was pretty unhappy. And I think also which really pissed him off was that random stream in 2026, which was the, I don't even know what it was. It was like a mix of football and random nonsense for like 10 hours, and that was like his worst begathon in 2 years. Like I think after fees he made like $397. It was pretty horrible for him.
Yeah, it was the mixture of football and love.
Yeah, and he was also pushing really hard for someone to give him $100 for that. Oh my god, it's a very special animation, guys. And
Oh,
it was that
yeah, that football one.
the one the one that was just a random. I think it was actually you well, international soccer or football. It was just an empty stadium that panned just barely. It wasn't even U.S. football, which was the point of that whole thing, allegedly.
He also didn't make it, he just took it from the service.
Yeah, he did lift the picture. I think someone said it was like a $14 license fee or something.
Yeah, that's another membership or subscription that he has too, because he's paying for those pictures monthly.
What a waste of money.
I don't even
Well,
think
he's
as
good at it.
well he canceled his oh, what is the Nexus Mods? I don't think he's canceled that yet either. Because he in the past he said, "Oh, I forgot to cancel it," but he never talked about it again.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of that one thing he was doing something when he was on Twitch and he picked up that service to have special emotes and stuff before he got banned,
Mm.
or excuse me, kicked off of the partner program. But yeah, he probably has so many subscription services he doesn't know that are deducting from his account. That's how they get you, though. It's kind of like when people have, when the new year starts and what is it, New Year, New Me, I'm going to sign up for the gym. You go for like 3 times and then you forget about it. And then they're just charging your card every month for like $30 for the gym and you never actually go.
Yeah, like a trial or something.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Got to keep on top of it. You'd be surprised if you ever look at your like charges, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I have all this stuff." I mean, we definitely know he has DoorDash. We know he pays for that one.
I think he has a streaming service too. I think HBO or something still. Because he was talking about how
HBO
he watched
Max.
something the other day.
Yeah, he would definitely have HBO Max and probably the Amazon and definitely Amazon Prime service because you just get that built in. Though personally, I wish I can get rid of it myself. I really don't use any of all the. It's kind of like a very bloated membership. I just need the shipping. I don't care about all the excess stuff. But then, of course, there'll be the one time I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a show on there and I want to watch it. Like Invincible or The Boys.
Oh, someone says he also pays for RGB light software as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the RGBs and HBO Max, DoorDash,
Nintendo Online.
Nintendo Online. I mean, that's once a year, but he'll probably write that off as a business expense.
Someone says
Does
he
he still have
forgot
the
he
PSN?
had PSN, yeah.
Yeah, that went up dramatically.
Yeah, I canceled that right away. And that's also
Yeah,
another thing too, is some places you have to actually call a number and you have to like negotiate to cancel your stuff. So a lot of places now are making it a law where if you go on the website, you just have to click a button to cancel it now.
It should be simple to cancel, but sometimes you make it difficult to cancel just to some people will give up, but hey, times are tough. People are trying to cut back any way you can. I have my personally is I was assessing my finances to figure out what I can cut, and I was looking at my phone plan bill and I'm changing that, and anything you can do, to try to save a few bucks because things are more expensive these days. I mean, I don't know about your area, but at least in the US it's pretty crazy.
Oh, it's crazy here too. I think it's not just a North America thing, but it's everywhere. It's almost like you have to choose sometimes like, "Oh, do I pay my bills? Do I eat food? Or do I do this? I do that?" And it's so tough for people nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of like the cost of housing is just insane, and just the cost of uh, energy, especially in light of the current Middle East conflict, which I don't know what's going on with that anymore. It's that the strait is open, the strait is closed. Who knows? Flip a coin. Depends on the day and who you ask. It might be open. Who knows? I mean, gas, oil prices are just crazy. But that's something else for DSP's little rant yesterday. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's weird how a business major doesn't understand business and he has finance major doesn't understand finances.
Yeah, I mean, the way he talked about that yesterday blew my mind when he was just kind of like, "Oh, hey guys, like, why are the prices up?" I don't know, Phil. Maybe it's because there's an active conflict that's not resolved, and 20% of the world's oil comes through the strait, and it's not there. So of course it's causing, I mean, countries typically have reserves that they've been releasing, and there's oil that's still out in the market for a while, but eventually when that starts to run low, you still have a missing 20%. So what's going to happen? Oil futures are going to look and say, well, prices are going up. But he's just like, I don't know. The supply is the same. No, it's not. But, that's Phil.
Yeah, and then he was talking about
That really just gave me a headache last night.
and he was talking about how, "Oh, if there's a limited supply of something, why does the price go up?" I don't know. Maybe supply and demand. They and it's certain brands too. If they know people are going to buy it just based on the brand, they will hike the price up because they know people are going to pay for it anyways. And if it's very rare,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to cost more.
True. It's kind of like when you go to the supermarket, right? You go down the cereal aisle, right? There's at least every time I go to the supermarket, I go down there. My favorite stuff is Raisin Bran, but there's what is it, Kellogg's Raisin Bran or whoever's behind it. I forgot the exact or Post Raisin Bran, and then there's the supermarket brand. And what's the difference? About $3 maybe, because obviously one doesn't have crazy marketing, and this is just leftover stock that they sell to supermarkets to make their own quote unquote store brand. It's the same product, but it's multiple times cheaper. And that's the thing here is like I think Phil's the type of person that's just going to go down the aisle and be like, "Oh my gosh, only poors would get the store brand." It's the same thing, but people will pay more just because of the name brand, the advertising. When it's like, why? I think sometimes people just don't realize it, but I think in Phil's case, he just probably views it. And my personal belief is he's like, "Oh, look at all these poors. I'm not a poor. I will spend." Like, okay, Phil,
Yeah,
just
and
waste money.
Phil is kind of like the person that goes and sees Crocs and then sees the same thing at like the dollar store. The only difference is the logo on it, but he'll be like, "See, that's more valuable because it has a logo on it, even though you're paying half the price for the dollar store one."
Well, well, you can use that same tangent. It's the same thing with colleges, for example. You can go to Yale or University of Penn or Dartmouth or Harvard, but their tuition rates are insane. Or you can go to a state school. I'm just thinking of my state. There's state colleges or state related institutions. Their tuition is a fraction of the price, but it's the same stuff. Why would you? I mean, you're paying for a name brand, and that's kind of how he probably is because he went to a very expensive private school that I think is doubled or almost tripled in price since he attended. So it's pretty crazy.
Well,
But they
remember
may want to
too.
get their business degree back.
Yeah, well, remember too. He couldn't get into Harvard because he's white.
Yeah, yeah, it couldn't be that.
Yeah, that's the
I
reason,
mean,
Phil.
I hate to
That's the
say,
reason right there.
yeah, I think their acceptance rate is something like you know what? Harvard acceptance rate. Let's look at that real quick. Let me see what that is because it's really low. It's 4.2%.
Yeah, the guy that is a business major with a finance major says that, oh, a rainy day fund is for when it rains out, you're supposed to spend money and this and that. And then blames it on his teacher, saying, oh, that's not what they taught me in school. They must be wrong, not me, dude.
Yeah, that was an amazing moment. That tells me a lot. Like that must be from his mom, really.
Oh, if you think about
Like
it,
that must be.
he moved from Connecticut
Mhm.
to Washington, Seattle, one of the most rain states in there.
And also just expensive in general. He keeps on claiming, and this is the thing that one of the things that I found interesting is because he claims, oh my gosh, I cashed out my 401k and we made the move and da 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 da. Right off the bat, moving across the United States, being such a large country, that's going to be expensive. And then, of course, he just bought the condo. I think it was like 268 or so. I have to remember, or 265 plus whatever fees. But you're moving into a state, and we know why he went there. He went there probably because there's no state income tax. But of course, that led him down a path where he got screwed later, obviously. Um, but any benefit of the fact that there's no state tax and he only had to pay the state or Washington State B&O tax was lost because he was paying a mortgage for a place he didn't bother to sell first or get off his books somehow or turn into a proper rental property. So basically, you're talking about what was it, about 6 years when he wasn't there of paying for a property you didn't live at. So what benefit was the going to Washington State? On top of the fact that their sales tax is one of the highest in the United States at 10 point, is it 5, 10.1%? And then just everything is just expensive in Washington. Like it's crazy. He may not have liked Connecticut, but I don't even believe the reason he went there is because of all that. I think he wanted to get away from his father. That's my personal belief.
Yeah, he was probably living in the shadow of his father because he was in the army. He had his successful business. He ran for mayor. He had all this positive, meaningful, robust stuff around him, and Bill just couldn't measure up.
Well, it's crazy. His father is
If,
actually
if it actually is
a
his real
politician.
father.
Well, you know, that's a whole different question. But his father has multiple degrees, executive. He still works, if I recall. And not only that, military, local politician for whatever he's done, and he's also was a college professor. This dude lived the life of what you would almost classify as the American dream. He did everything and he earned it, and then his son is just a beggar.
Yeah.
That's I wonder what he tells people about what his son does,
I
when it
wonder
comes up.
if he took after his mom more than his father then. If his mom's like
Oh,
that.
I believe so. Like I think there's no way because it seems like his father has a very strong work ethic, and I bet you the mom just spoiled him because he probably was working all the time that he couldn't spend as much time because someone like that just gives me the vibe that they weren't disciplined correctly. Like it's just like give him money, shut him up. Instead of, I'm not saying beat your kid, but you got to discipline him.
And when we hear that Wolverine story, we know exactly what kind of kid he was. And it's funny when he tells that story, he's like, guys, let's talk about this. Let's give me this doll right now. And he speaks like an adult in his story about him being a kid.
Yeah, that just comes off as a very spoiled brat, that for once was told no. And I'm surprised he would even share that, but I think this was also a different time where he didn't really have a troll element at the time, or if it did exist back then. I think that video was from 2011,
Well, also, it's him
maybe.
not being self aware, too. He thinks that makes him look good.
Yeah, because I think he's like, oh, if you're a parent, make sure you buy this. And I'm like, sometimes there's reasons you can't, or sometimes the answer is just no. It's sorry. I mean, I hate to say that, people aren't made of infinite cash, but I don't
Well,
know. Maybe he got it. Was hoping his mom would buy it. I don't know.
Well, you can tell his attitude when he told the story, and then someone asked him if they had the money for it, and he goes, "Well, they had the money. They're just fucking stupid." That tells you
Well, it
his mindset right there.
shows how much he cares about his parents, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I it's yeah. You know, there are people out there that grew up with so much less and probably have much more better relationships with their parents than Phil. Yet he probably had everything, you know? I think he probably was a sheltered kid growing up. That was it.
Oh, yeah, he was told, "You did nothing wrong, Philip. You did everything correct."
Oh yeah. Little Philly boy while mom's cutting his hair every day.
Until he was 17 and combing it.
He didn't like that when he said that. And he said it of his own free will. And then when people bring it up, he's like, "Oh my god, you bunch of trolls, ban." Okay. You
Well,
said it.
it even goes further than that. After she stopped combing his hair, he shaved his hair because it was too much maintenance.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I just shaved my head back in the day. Back before I just shaved it all off. But I'll tell you that it's easier to just do a buzz cut. It's
Well,
much easier.
there's a difference between doing it because it feels good, it's easier maintenance than just like, "I don't wanna comb my hair, I'm just gonna shave it." Phil
Oh
was
yeah.
just lazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just personally just like having short hair, but unfortunately as I got older, I noticed uh that I followed into my father's path and I was like, I'm not trying to be disillusioned and I just shaved my head. It's much easier. So I remember during the pandemic when everything was closed, I had a lot of this is back I didn't really pay much attention to Facebook really, but I must admit in 2020 when everything was closed, I was on it a little bit more than I ever anticipated because I usually kept it for just family and high school folks. But I saw a lot of complaints about people not being able to get a haircut. It was rather amusing, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't got to worry about such minutia.
Yeah, and a lot of people can pull that bald look off too.
Yeah, I look just like Steve Austin, but with glasses.
There you go, there you go. Any other, thing you wanna say about February?
It was pretty much another. It was actually a pretty big declining month, but that's pretty much it.
So, one big thing I wanted to point out is you're gonna see a huge decline on Kick like you were talking about with subs. 2025, 571 subs. On 2026, you have 222. That's a huge drop in 1 month. And that brings
Oh
us
yeah.
so last year, or yeah, 2025, he had his Five Nights at Freddy's, and it was 1,341 raw, 1,002 fee adjusted. And that brings us to March 2025. So in 2025, in March, he also had the King Snaking in the Level 666 podcast, straight out of fucking hell, that he did there. And I believe that was February. He also had his, I think this is one of his first ones, DSP's Indie Night tryouts. He also had his DSP Retrothon 2026. He had,
That
oh,
was
the snow
in,
day and power went out. Oh, sorry, you're gonna say
oh the
something?
March. Oh, the March one was the Retrothon. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then he also had another Indies tryout. Oh, and I see what
Mm.
April is. That's gonna be interesting to talk about. So,
Oh
what do you
yeah.
see for March 2025 versus 2026?
Well, we do see an increase, and honestly, the increase can be attributed to literally one person. He was literally on a decline all throughout 2026 up until March, and then we have one person that changed the course of that month. And that person was, you can guess it, it was Jai Hayes, who dumped probably at least 2,000 or more dollars. And it was crazy. The amount of money he wasted literally boosted him up year over year for March. It was unreal. Um, I mean, we still see the existing pattern where, more money is going into YouTube side support, and we see the kick subs continue to decline, as well as the tips are coming down. But literally, Jay Hayes dumped an insane amount of money on the Phil, and that's the only reason these numbers are as good. or excuse me, better, is because of one person that I don't know what was going on in his head. Said, "Here you go, Phil. Here's a lot of money." Literally, he changed the course of a month, which is really telling what a whale can do if they really tried.
Yeah, especially if you look at the without Jay Hayes, let's see the adjusted fees here. If you look at those, are
Hmm.
very, very close. Then you have no kicks from 2025, and you have 346 and kicks there. So this probably would have been a very huge disaster month for Phil if it wasn't for Jay Hayes compared to last year.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing that is also interesting is that even though his total raw total is up, you always have to keep in mind it's how the money comes in. So
Mobile fees.
it's basically, yeah, well, it's just the higher fees on YouTube basically. And all that money is just basically putting a lot of pain on this guy. It's like literally he should have more money, but the reality is they're burning more money on YouTube support, and that's just eating away at him. But Jay Hayes saved him for that month.
And I believe most of his stuff was YouTube side too. So super chats, and I can't remember if he did memberships, but I know he did super chats and tips.
Yeah, there was some bizarre moments that in March, yeah, but it was Jay Hayes that was behind a lot of the money dumps. Like I don't that was just bizarre. And he did have a begathon in March, but it didn't do too well. If I recall, it was the retrothon, and it didn't make him much money. It was probably one of his worst begathons ever, if I recall.
Yeah, and you're gonna start seeing his begathons get less and less money too. So this one here, he was actually positive in this month compared to last year, which I think that's the first of 3 months it's been positive. So now we get to
Hmm.
his birthday stream. So we have raw total from 2025, 2,130, adjusted 1,814, and then 2026, 2,129, adjusted 1,883. So what do you think about his birthday, 2025 versus 2026?
It was definitely just flat. It was interesting that he basically managed to keep roughly about the same amount of money, but it was basically a bunch of idiots on the kick bits that really kind of saved him. I don't know what they were thinking when they were dumping all that, but it was a little more in tips and a little more in the kick bits. That basically kind of kept him more or less flat year over year. I mean, that's basically about the same, but they like to reward him for existing. So
And of
I guess that's all
course,
we can really expect.
if this was any other begathon in this month, it'd been a lot lower. Oh, and Asmon Gold Raid, someone says.
Mm. Oh, that's right. That was the other piece. It was the Asmongold folks. If that didn't happen, yeah, it probably would have been a disaster begathon. But he sent his audience over, and that's probably what did it. But of course, there was the karma for doing that, right? He got banned on Twitch. So, now I think he said the other day, like, oh, I don't think I want to work with him anymore. I was like, yeah. He's like a living Sonichu medallion.
Yeah, then he started talking about certain words I can't say on YouTube about his toys and stuff.
Yeah.
So in April, we have did we have anything in April for 2025? Because I know in 2026 we had the April Fool special, DSP against Low Tier God and Wings of Redemption. And then we had his birthday, but I'm not too sure if there was anything
Yeah.
in 2025 for April.
It was just the begathon in 2025 for the birthday.
Just the
I
birthday,
do remember there was, yeah, I think there was that LTG thing.
the April Fool's joke.
Wait, so that's right. Yeah, I called it the LTG rant. Yeah, that did net him some cash. Um, But he also, yeah, his begathon, his birthday begathon. I don't think there was anything else outside of that really.
Now, one thing
And
I
then he was,
noticed
and that.
too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say is like I know towards the end of the month he started to really will in a begathon in May, and that we know that's the May 1st burst slash Mega Man thing. But yeah, that was out of April.
Yeah, because this is going to be the start of like drama ramping up here. So the LTG, the Wings, is continuously going to attack Kino Casino after this. And if you notice too, kick sub 693 in 2025. In 2026, 278, we're getting lower and lower for kick subs. What do you think about overall April 2025 versus 2026?
Yeah, basically he touched on the drama, relied on his birthday to basically try to keep his income somewhat stable. So I consider this basically flat year over year even. Um, I think part of the reason he was kind of desperate is also tax time. It was, I mean, who knows if he owed or how much he owed or what he had to do, but there was definitely a hard drive for cash in April. So I kind of wonder if there was something with taxes that we are unaware of.
So pretty close in there. He's a little bit under in 2026. Then, so we get to May. So the first Mega Man or Bega Man is January 8th, 2025. He got fee adjusted 502. In the second one, he got 946. Then I believe in the May 1st, 2026, he got a fee adjusted of 523. So what can you tell us about the three Mega Mans and the numbers that correlate with them?
Let me get those up here. So, it was kind of a middle of road event. The event that did really well was the second. I called it Bega Man, but Bega Man 2 in August 2025, he had about 946 bucks after fees. Uh, but for this one, the one in April, or excuse me, May 1st burst, he actually was pretty much evenish with the other events. It was only the second Mega Man that did double that roughly. All the other ones were roughly around $500. So I think he was trying to milk though the whole May 1st burst because he really it came out of the blue. Because remember, he was saying, guys, we're gonna kind of relax on the marathons, right? We're gonna step back from it. And then all of a sudden, he was probably like, man, I need some cash or something, and all of a sudden he willed Mega Man 4 into an existence and tied it to the May 1st burst. And, it was a very weird, I don't know, it just came out of the blue and it did okay for him, I guess. I mean, it was only this Mega Man 2 that did almost double that. Everything else, all the other ones were about 500. But hey, it was for the course of one day, it guaranteed him about what, almost 3 goals. So he probably was happy.
Also, he had the $100 animation of his May 1st burst as Mega Man.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he had to pay for that too. You had to get that hundo to see it. He didn't just use it. Yeah, that was a pretty wild one. He's trying to own the meme.
But it's so weird too because in the past he would say, every time my wife sees or hears about my jerk off face, she would cry. But now, oh, money's involved. Let me monetize my jerk off face. Which makes you wonder how he feels about his wife in that position then, if it makes her cry.
I think he just lied about that. He was just trying to use it to put pressure on people to stop talking about it. And, like he tried to do that with what, Review Tech, didn't he? Didn't he claim that with Review Tech?
Well, review tech is a whole different thing. That's an obsessed stalker weirdo. But he did say that for him as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to guilt trip him or something. I don't think she cares personally.
Yeah, because did you see, you obviously saw about the tattoo of RTU, right?
Yeah, I that was something.
So, if anyone didn't see it, RTU had a goal of $10,000 to get a tattoo of Phil jerking off, well, not jerking off, but his jerk off face on tattooed on his arm. He originally said it would be on his ass cheek and then changed it to his arm. Also, he's tried to sell DSP merchandise with his jerk off face on notebooks and mouse pads and all this other stuff. He got clothing with Phil's face on it, personally made for him, multiple different pairs. I'm telling you, he is single white female. One day he's gonna go to Renton, he's gonna skin Cat alive, wear her skin, and just try to have his way with Phil. He's a sicko.
It'll be interesting to say the least, but he's got a whole host of his problems. He's a character.
Yeah, and apparently he's leaving YouTube, but he's not really leaving YouTube.
I don't know what he's going to do for money.
Apparently he's going to Twitch. His controversial stuff is going on Twitch, which good luck with that.
Oh, he'll be banned real quick.
So we have May 2025. I think, was there, besides his burst, was there any other events in 2025?
Let me check. I have my list here. What happened in May 2025? Do. Oh, I saved it. Where's it at? He did have a Begathon in May 2025. What was that Begathon?
Well, wouldn't that be the Mega Man thing?
Well, in 2026, yeah,
Oh,
he had
20,
one.
yeah. Oh, sorry,
I thought you.
2025.
Yeah, I'm trying to find 2025.
Phil will go to
What?
TikTok and tell Chinese people that wrist rests are the best. He quit Mega
Oh my
Man
goodness.
8.
He did. Okay, so it was a viewer's choice in May 2025.
Oh, was that the Kingdom Come Deliverance thing?
I think so.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the one that didn't do too well for him, but that was 2025. He actually made more money on Mega Man in 2025 than he did last year. That made him $490. That was May 7th, 2025.
So in 2026, he had his May 1st burst, DSP's game tryouts. Then he did Indie Night, Super Meat Boy 3D, Baby in Yellow, and Toonstruck. And then he started playing Blackjack TCG Store in Forza Horizon without the wheel, by the way.
Yeah. He refuses to take the wheel out because it's too much of an effort to lift it out of the storage bin.
Now, guys, if you give me $100, you can see it though. I think he said
That
50,
was
but
crazy.
yeah.
No, I think it was 100, wasn't it? Or 150. It was something ridiculous. Like, guys, if you give me
Oh,
this,
yeah.
we get. It's like, are you for real, Phil? How?
But that also makes you
Okay.
wonder. So he's willing to take it out of the closet if you to show you for money, but he's not willing to use it to play the game.
Yeah, he just has to plug it in, but we'll see.
Well,
That. Mhm.
well, the same guy who said AI slop thumbnails, but look at all the thumbnails he puts out.
Yeah. I mean, his AI slop is getting there, and nothing wrong with using AI, I suppose. But boy, those he's trying to make himself look like some sort of Chad there. He's like, look at me with my glasses and all this other nonsense. Like, come on, Phil.
Well, I went on vacation for 2 weeks. I came back and I saw Meerkat's post of him with his fake muscles holding up the Nintendo Switch 2, and I just died. I was like, Phil, what are you doing?
That was incredible when he did that. Like, uh, I didn't when I first saw the thumbnail, I didn't think of it. I didn't even notice it at first, and then someone's like, "Did you see the thumbnail?" I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Look at his arms." I'm like, "Your arms aren't jacked, bro. You're." I mean, listen, maybe in time and like protein and better diet and serious exercises, but I don't know if he could ever get to that level, to be quite honest.
Do you think he's taken Ozempic
Isn't that the question we all have? GLP, I mean, people say Ozempic because I think that's like the
or a
most
weight
known
loss
one,
drug?
but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a couple GLP ones, and I was wondering, like, because you know how he likes to play semantics with everything? Like, what if he's actually just taking a different GLP-1? And he's like, see, I'm not taking Ozempic. And he's being honest. He's not. But, if you call him out and be like, well, which GLP-1 are you taking? Oh my God, troll, ban. I mean, there's always like, what is there? There's Wegovy. I think there's
Majarno,
Majarno,
Zepbound.
and
He got an ad for that the other week or so.
yeah, that was the thing that came up on one of the streams, and I know a lot of times that stuff is like kind of like automated through algorithms based on your search history. So there are a few of those drugs out there that can be acquired without any special requirements or very minimal requirements. So, and many of them have manufacturer coupons too. So I kept thinking to myself, maybe he's using a different one because, you know. And what do you think about Kat? Do you think she's lost weight or do you think he's lying about that?
I think possibly she's lost a little bit of weight, but I don't think it's noticeable weight. So I think Phil is trying to motivate her to lose weight by him himself losing weight. So it's almost like because I my theory is that she's very depressed in that house. She sees her life going by. She's stuck in that house talking to Phil and Jasper and no one else. She's isolated from her family. She eats her feelings away. And Phil's kind of like, "What's going on? You're gaining weight here." And then he's like, "See, I can lose the weight you can do." So it's almost like he's not doing it for himself, but to get her slimmer again.
Can you imagine living with Phil? I think everyone would gain weight. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't had the greatest life so far, even before Phil. But
Yeah.
then
I
again,
mean,
she's
uh,
not a victim in this though, because she encourages him.
yeah, she's complacent, I believe. I used to think that she was just innocent of it all, but it's like I think she's aware of everything. Because when you see the dump of the records from her exchange with Subaru Man and everything, like I mean, I think she used to be armed with a gun and everything. It's like, nah, this is someone that's she's a lot more in the know of what's happening than we think or thought. But I think she probably has slimmed down. I just don't think it's she's not big still.
Now, can you imagine? You find out your girlfriend's cheating on you, and she's cheating on you with Darkside Phil.
I mean, for Subaru Man, I don't know what I don't know what was going through his head, but I mean, I know someone looked into him, and he's like got he has like a happy wife and family and stuff now, so it probably was for the best actually. So he's probably thinking to himself, "Man, Phil played himself."
We have a glitter fart. He's a feeder, and she's a diaper mommy.
Oh my goodness. I I I had the theory that Phil wanted her to get big. He wanted to feed her because he probably was afraid that she'll just leave him. That's always been in my theory is that he wanted her to plump up so then no one would ever want her and thus she'll never leave him because he wants to have a mommy basically take care of him. So he doesn't have to do anything. She's probably does all the laundry, probably does the cleaning, cooking, and he just has to stay in his little room 6 days a week, rotting away, hidden from the world. Just think about this new freezer he got. How often do you think he really even leaves the house more? Like, he might make one journey on errands now, probably once a month. I bet you he barely leaves the condo. Do you even think he gets groceries delivered?
I think he's cutting down on things he needs to go out because before you would get pet supplies for Jasper. Now he gets it on Amazon. He's talking about getting groceries delivered. He's got his freezer now for all the snack pizzas, so he doesn't even have to go out and do stuff. His Pokemon cards, his DoorDash from down the street, Wendy's, it's all there.
Yeah, but the amount of money he wastes on DoorDash is insane, probably because it's all marked up. There's the base price plus a markup, then you have the service fee. Well, actually, the service fee's wiped out because of the subscription, but then you have the tip and anything else. You know, what might be like just thinking about Wendy's, you know, a combo meal might be $6. You do it on DoorDash, that turns into 15 to 20. And if you keep doing it, that really adds up. You know, it's wasting money.
And the ironic thing is too, Phil went on a rant at the start of the year, I believe, about all the current generation people wasting money on DoorDash and like a third of their paycheck going to it.
I remember that and I thought to myself, this is like, what do they call it? The kettle calling or the pot calling the kettle black. It's like, what?
And I think it was the Wendy's this week or last week, the one with the Frosty, where he's like, "It was only 5 minutes away and it's melted." But he went on a 20-minute break, and I think he had 4 breaks that day. So you went on a 20-minute break, it's 5 minutes away, but you didn't go and get it, and you paid
Yeah,
extra
that's
for
the
DoorDash.
Yeah, and the thing is we don't know when they actually filled it too, right? So they could have, they could have filled it and they may not have put it in a freezer or something. And then of course the driver has to get there, pick it up. It is hot out. Well, I shouldn't say hot, but it's warmer out, and then he has to get it to your house. So, there's a lot of factors. And some of these drivers, I think they probably pick up more than one order to make it more worth their while.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing one order probably doesn't make sense to them. So, Phil can say whatever he wants. That the reality is that if you were that mad about or annoyed, go get it yourself. Like, like the one thing I've been trying to do is, I mean, I don't use those apps, but I've been trying to do like over the last year as an additional way to save money is try to cook more and more and more because sometimes but if I ever were to eat out, I will go pick it up. I will not do a service plan where I have to pay a marked up fee and additional fees. I will go to this place, a restaurant, and pick it up and take it home, or just stay there. Because it's an absolute waste of money to use those apps. But that's just me. But I think I've become much more better at cooking over the last couple of years when I've been trying to, save money. It's always good to save money or cut
Yeah.
back on your spending.
Yeah, and a lot of places too, when you have, like, stuff that can melt, they don't even let you DoorDash it. And the fact that DSP, when he gets the Frosty, goes, "Well, it shouldn't melt. My house is air conditioned."
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
Phil.
absolutely ridiculous. I'm pretty sure the Wendy's was air conditioned too, but it's out of the machine. It's sitting out. It's awaiting a pickup. So eventually, it's going to melt.
Oh, and don't forget the
So
detractors are waiting in the parking lot to affect his order too.
yeah, I'm sure. I I do wonder how well known Phil is in Renton, though. It seems kind of weird how everyone seems to be aware of his existence.
Yeah, I have a feeling his neighbors, at least some of them, know who he is and just tries to avoid him. They'll be walking with their kids, be like, "Don't talk to that man ever. He's a weird man. Don't talk to him."
He has a detractor in his community. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, the new one.
Yeah, but like a real one. I don't know what to make of the individual that was apparently someone released the footage riding a drone up to his window. Did you see that?
I saw something on Twitter about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it matches up to his blackout curtain too. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I kind of think that's a little intense, but it would be amazing if he does a level 1 podcast and then a drone accidentally flies through the window. Like,
Or
oh my god,
or they get Tyrone entering the door.
Tyrone. But yeah, it looks like he has like a legitimate DSP troll is actually in his community. I wonder if he's aware of that. And if he's not, whoever's reporting back to him is probably going to send him that video clip of showing the drone going up to his window.
Yeah, and then Mr. 220 will call the police. Guys, there's a detractor here. They're all around, dude.
I think what he would actually do is go right to the HOA, the head of the HOA. I think that's what his first course of action will be.
Well, I don't know about that because the detractors could get in this new person's ear about all the stuff that's wrong in Phil's house, and they could have him go to the HOA.
Yeah, who knows how messed up that house may or may not be.
Well, we know for
It's
sure his fire detector is ripped out still.
That's true. He showed that picture one day, but I think there was a time last year they were doing installing new ones, so I don't know if he has one up there now. I don't think he's put the camera up in the last year, but
I think he said that was for his garage.
um,
I can't imagine
it's
someone just stepping into that house and just probably the smell that goes on there.
yeah, must be the diapers. But I'll tell you this much, I don't personally like the concept. I mean, if I was like old, or I guess maybe if I had a large family, or if I was older and, like we're talking frail old, maybe an HOA would make sense. For me personally, though, I own my home and I just am not part of an HOA. I just do not accept the concept that I should have to listen to someone else on how to manage my property and tell me what I can do with my property. That just irks me. But that's just me.
Well, especially if you have a Karen in the HOA too.
Yeah, but that's the thing is the HOA, you could all you gotta do is make enough enemies and they can do whatever they want to you, and you're bound to whatever their bylaws are, fining you or whatever. Like they can make your life miserable. That's why I'm like, no, no way.
So, what are your thoughts overall for May 2025 versus May 2026?
So we have here, as we can see, is we're back to Jai Hayes is gone. At this point, he is out of the picture, so we can forget about him because I think he eventually vanished some point in April. So May, he is definitely out of the picture, and we've gone back down to our decline. So the decline that got interrupted in March, we're back down again, and it's a pretty big, healthy drop. That's about $1,500, and we can still see the same pattern here. Is that there's a ridiculous amount of money feeding into YouTube side support, especially super chats, but we can see the tips and the kick subs just imploded. Like we're talking about over what is that 60% on kick subs, and man, the YouTube and the tips are about 50%. So, and of course, even though he's gotten almost $5,000 in super chats, those fees add up. They really hurt him. So we're back in the decline mode at the moment.
Yeah, and at this point on Kick, it's like three people supporting him, and two of them are probably on their sock accounts. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you got your future stepdad, but he's kind of slowed down. Then you have what's his face?
Lance.
The occasional he's slowed down too. It's once in a while now. He's not big anymore like he used to be. Like he hasn't even appeared in like the last 2 weeks. You know who he was trying to use the drama content for to get Dr. Lexus to appear?
The once in a while Dr. Lexus.
Yeah, and it only shows up for drama. Who else was there? There's the guy behind the troll names, which I think is probably ICS.
Most likely, yeah.
And those add up. They really do. Um, and then there's who is it? Detractors are jealous or detractors are sad.
Well, that's probably another
Some
sock account.
it is definitely a sock. I saw someone say, "Oh, it's ICS." I kind of wondering about that. Someone suggested it was Canadian Kirk
That's possible.
because he on YouTube used to constantly say stuff like, "Oh, detractors this, detractors that," and it seems like it's MO, but it could be ICS. You'll never 100% know, but it feels like that's a sock account. But you can see the kick support has just come imploded, and it's basically maybe three people, and part of it is troll accounts. There's very few legitimate givers, so. And he also even acknowledged, I think a week ago, that the actual paying members, not free subs, gifting sub people, have also dropped off. So it tells me a lot of people are canceling their subscriptions. So these numbers are coming down. It's a healthy decline we're seeing back in May. So
And I believe
and of course
around this time in 2025 is when he did his extortion for taking away immoral messages because people weren't giving him subs.
oh, that's right. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I'm sure he'll be fine. Right? Right.
Anything else about
Mm.
May 2025, 2026?
Uh, not really. It was just we're back onto that decline. So
So this right here is just covering um ending last week. So I'm sure you have updated numbers for this. I think you said it at the start.
so that is through last. What was that day? Uh, was that through the 20th, I believe, or no? That's through last the 20. When was the stream week over? That was it the 26th or 27th?
Was
I think it was the 27th, right?
It was on the Friday, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, so this is basically doesn't
Yeah,
include
the
Sunday, Monday, or today.
the
So it's the bulk of
26th,
the
yeah.
month. Yeah, so it's basically the bulk of the month. Let's see if I have. So I have. Oh my gosh, where's it at? Doo-doo-doo. So for tips for June 2026 through yesterday, I haven't looked at his day stream today. So he was at 2883. For super chats, he was at 42.99. YouTube memberships, 142 new were gifted. So there hasn't been much in that growth.
Yeah,
His
like
kick
2.
subs, yeah, his kicks at least through yesterday. I don't know what happened today. Um, his kick subs through yesterday are 270. The kicks are 533 through yesterday. So the haul through June minus today was $9,633, and the post fee amount was $8,104. So let me see. Do I have June 2025 offhand? Doo-doo-doo. I can't find where I stored it.
I do have it on the screen if you want.
Oh, that's for this. That's just the 3 weeks though.
Oh,
Or
sorry, yeah.
four.
Yeah, this is
Um,
also the month that in 2026 Pokemon started. So you're gonna start seeing a difference here. But
yeah,
he
the one
spent
thing I would.
like 3,200
Hmm?
though on Pokemon.
That's the thing. He spent the money on a freezer and I think the workout machine and about $3,200, if not more. We don't know what's happening off stream on Pokemon crap. So the reality is this guy might be hurting pretty bad. Like if you deduct the Pokemon fee from his post amount, so that's 8104. He's talking about, what is that, $4,900? That's really a disaster for this guy. Uh,
And that's only the stuff we know on stream, so all the boxes or packs that he's buying off stream too.
yeah, yeah. And also last year he did have a begathon in June. That was the Switch 2 one, which was a total disaster.
Oh yeah.
That's the one where he made about, where is it at? Uh, where are you at, Mr. History? Okay, yeah, Switch 2 Mario Kart World June 6th. That was about $448 after fees, 538 before fees. So that's not good. It was kind of like the downward trend we were seeing. Of course, that was before, and then of course we have the upcoming one in July 2025, which is the closet clean out in Divestance Day. I'm sure you're excited for that.
Oh yeah. Is he doing
Uh,
that on DSP Gaming or DSP Reacts?
he- I'm sure he's doing it on DSP Gaming. He probably wants all eyes on him.
But there's no gaming going on that day. It's just him in the closet.
He loves the closet. You didn't know? He's a big fan.
He also had
Huge
that
fan of the
animation.
closet.
Animation of him dancing out of the
Oh yeah.
closet.
Oh yeah, that was from the closet clean out in 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, where is my June 22? This is killing me. I grabbed a whole bunch of things and I can't find where it's at. Uh,
He also had in
Kind of irking me now.
2025 DSP Live reacts to Summer Game Fest, which I'm sure did all the numbers for him. And then in
Oh, okay, I have it.
2026, oh sure, go ahead.
Okay, here. Or actually, I'll drop it over to you. Let me send it to you. I knew I had it somewhere. I was like, where did this file go? Let me send it to you. Here we go. So this is looking at June and July 2025, but
Oh,
there you
there we
go.
go.
So we can at least see. So we can see that he did bring in post fee. Yeah. So we can see June 2025 was kind of a disaster for this guy. 6758 after fees. Um and obviously that's not good. So he or what is that? Or excuse me, 7377. Is that a different picture or
Oh, I have it on
oh,
the
Discord?
video, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so he had 7377 after fees in June 2025. Right now he's hovering, not including today, 8104. So is he making more? About $700 more before including whatever today is. The problem that we face though is that we don't know how much has been dumped on Pokemon cards. So, even if he took in $8,100, this is a person that has probably burnt at least 3,000 or more on Pokemon cards. And quite honestly, that's just a huge hole to this guy's pocket. And on top of the freezer, the exercise machine, assuming he paid it and not put it on a payment plan or some form of credit, and any other fees this guy has, uh, that's not good. Now, the one thing I would always remind you with these numbers, there is missing information, and this is actually from one of my posts from last year. There is stuff that's not included here. So he still had the merch sales, and there's certain things that aren't included. So he does still make more money than that we can't see. But this is the direct support, and we can see that in comparison, 2025, 2026, it did go up, but this guy's spending has apparently gone crazy. So I can't imagine he's doing so well.
Now, there is a wild card in here too. So he has his Pokemon addiction, right?
Correct. That's the 3,000 expenses at least.
So, the game he plays right now, Pokemon Champions, just released a mobile game version, which has microtransactions, I believe. Or I could be wrong about that. So, do you think
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Mobile Addiction History could get addicted again since he has his Pokemon addiction?
I don't see why not. That must be insane. Oh yeah. That's probably pretty wild, how much he can get addicted. I think that'll be interesting to see what happens if he's really spending money galore.
What is going on, Lord Diaz? How you doing, my friend?
Oh, hello, Laura Diaz. A champion of the champions. Of Step Mania. He's the man.
Every morning, I believe 9 a.m. Or you can check me on that if you want, Diaz. I'll tell you the correct time. So we now get to the 6 month period. So we've seen January, February, March, April, and May and June. So what do you think his projection is for the end of the year?
Well, I can give you. I did do some summaries of January 1 through June 29th before I got on here. So just to give you that, the raw haul, just for the first half of the year, he took in, and this is not including those certain items, that we can't see, and we have to only guesstimate at the end of the year. His raw haul in 2025 was $59,047 from January 1st to June 29th. That came out to about $51,593 after fees, but before taxes. In 2026, he took in $59,109 in raw. So it's about flat, or a little bit more, but it's basically flat. After fees and before taxes in 2026, it was $48,746 before taxes. So he did see we're hovering about almost about a 3,000 decline year over year. Unfortunately, though, that's probably because of the J Haze and the also the Pokemon card grift. But the thing is, there's so much more expense to the Pokemon cards. Um, that's why he's probably taking a bigger hit than we can really imagine to his bottom line, probably. So as far as what I think for the rest of the year, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if he's driven the Pokemon card grift into the ground. July will be interesting. I think that the real test is going to be this Saturday to see what happens with the Begathon, with the vest crap.
What do you think your prediction on that is?
Well, just to bring up, he took in last year after fees $963 for the Indivest and stay in 2025. So it's pretty clear that's what he expects. He says he's not going to tie Pokemon cards to this. Do you believe that?
Oh no. He already said too, once he gets to like a certain amount of support, he bought a bunch of those like code, like those digital codes he's gonna give away. So if you think about it, if he gets to $100, he's gonna give away codes for Pokemon. So that technically is tied already. But I believe if support is really low, he's gonna say, "Come on, guys, just give me to $200 and I'll open up a pack," like he does every time.
Well, if that happens, that could be a disaster string for him. But the reality is, economically, I believe the smaller dolphins are driven off by the simple fact that they just don't have money to give anymore. We're at a point where, there's layoffs, inflation is getting worse. The war in the Middle East is causing issues with energy prices. I would be shocked if you see anything but dolphin activity on Saturday. But I kind of believe, and this is just me guessing, because who knows, a whale could be listening right now and be like, you know what, I'll show them because I want to do my findom. Maybe I think he'll get below 1,000 after fees. As far as the projection for the rest of the year, I think things are going to slow down, and he's going to pray to God that GTA 6 saves the business because that's all he has in this latter half of this year. I don't think anything else is going to do it for him anymore. So, hmm,
Yeah, so also on the
I,
screen
I do.
here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mhm. I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, at least I believe that I do think he'll have six figures. Uh, Last year I clocked him at making. Where's it at? So here's the haul of the raw total money he made last year from the numbers we can see. It was about $126,896. After fees, it was $107,732 with the fee adjustments. Now, I did an estimate on the other stuff from Patreon, the YouTube ad revenue, the recurring YouTube memberships, and Kick partner rate, and I estimated that at about 44,000 over the year. So I came to a total in 2027, or excuse me, 2025 of about $171,000 and roughly about
Edwitter underscore
150,000
Fard
before
became a
taxes
member.
after fees. In 2026, I'm going to guess that that's going to taper off as things get economically worse in this country and probably even globally. People aren't immune to this, as you mentioned earlier. So my guess is that he will ultimately overhaul make less money in 2026. And I think we'll see the panic on top of a new gotcha addiction impact him. What will that be? I have to really think about it more, but I'm going to guess that he maybe takes in 110 just for the stuff we can see, and then the rest of that money because his views are crapping out. He's already told us his watch time is crap because, as we know, it's the watch time that matters because that gives you the ad revenue. That's you can't get ads if no one watches.
Yeah, they want the
Um,
engagement.
yeah, because he brags about, oh, I got 1,000 views on this video, but no one cares if the watch time is like a minute and the video is like 2 hours. You're not going to get any ad money on that. He just thinks that though, because he's locked into the whole view, right? I'm Mr. Views. Um, so my guess is that overall in the year, I think he will take in about 150 before fees. But after fees, maybe it'll end up being 120. But there's a hard problem with Phil. When he lives where he lives, one, the cost of living is very expensive. I estimate his monthly cost to live in the Wakando to be about $2,500 a month, or about $30,000 a year, is wiped out immediately. That includes his mortgage, his HOA, which we found out was about $550 a month from a property that went on sale last November, and his property taxes. So that's about $5,600 a year in 2026. So $30,000 is just gone, and that's before utilities. So to live in Wakando, it probably, not including utilities, pet food, regular food, it's probably costing him cost almost $40,000 a year just to stay there in a gated community. That's crazy. That's a lot of money to lock up in your living arrangements, and that's money you can't get out of.
Yeah, and he's gonna get more and
So,
more desperate too.
right, because he needs to be able to keep a significant amount of money to be able to afford to live above his means in a place he shouldn't be in. He doesn't really deserve it, in my opinion. And the amount of money he's got to commit to this location is insane for a condo where he could have more land. He's spending so much money on a property he has no land, and he's got to do what other people tell him to do just so he can hide in a little gate. But I think we're going to see some interesting stuff. I do believe that, as time progresses, we're going to continue to see the decline. I do think he's going to drive off more people. This current YouTube hack where it's blocking out people and he's keeping people locked up for 6 months, it's going to drive off people. So we'll see. I mean, did you see last night where he said, "Hey guys, listen, you could still super chat me. I'll see your message." It's like, that's just disgusting.
Yeah.
You got to send me money to see your message? So regardless, he's got his spending problems, but he also has to consider his taxes and everything else. If we consider taxes to this equation, he must have to tie up $65,000 a year just to live in Wakanda for taxes and property, food, utilities. That's an insane amount of money to live in a location. It really is nuts. And we know and just to say, the HOA number I'm citing is from November 2025. We don't know what it is this year because the only way I found that is by looking up properties for sale, and they have to share what the number is. So we don't know what the 2026 HOA fee is, but imagine spending $6,600 a year on nothing. Literally nothing. What does he get? A gate and trash collection. Oh no, he doesn't even get trash collection.
A small backyard that you can't barbecue in either.
Yeah, and it's the 4th of July, man. We gotta have the barbecue.
And also, thank you to Glitterfart for becoming a member and gifting 20 memberships. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, dude. Everyone,
ups.
thank Glitterfart in the chat if you got one. W's in chat for Glitterfart. He does use fleshlight. That is actually disgusting. Says, do you think DSP takes advantage of the no taxes? No tax on tips, sorry.
That's a good question because we don't know. My understanding, because we weren't sure what it would be, is that if it would impact streamers, and apparently it does. Now, the thing about the taxes for that, the no tax on tip is over exaggerated because there are state taxes still apply. So he still has to pay the Washington B&O on them, and he still has to pay self-employment taxes, which for someone like Phil, that's about 15.3%. And that's not exempt, even though it's a federal tax. That's basically both sides of Social Security and Medicare. So if you're a W-2 employee in the US, that basically means you work for a company and they take out all the taxes and they share the tax burden. So for example, if you ever look at your paycheck, you'll see the deductions for your taxes for federal as well as your employer, and it's split 50-50. Same thing with Medicare. It's split 50-50. So in a situation of self-employment tax, you have to pay both sides of the tax because you and yourself are the sole proprietor. You got to pay that. So those are not exempt under the no tax on tips. So it's only for the federal tax part. So assuming his records are correct and his tax guy believes he could do it, I'm not sure about that part on that when it comes to the taxation. If his tax guy knows what they're doing, could he have been exempt? Sure. But it's only a percentage of that money. So he would probably get a little bit of relief, but he would still probably owe taxes because I doubt he gets away with it.
I feel like whenever DSP sees a headline or a message or whatnot, he doesn't read into it. He just sees no tax on tips, doesn't read the fine print, doesn't read anything else. He goes, I'm going to my tax guy. I'm not paying taxes anymore. And that's going to get him in trouble, just like it did when he went to Connecticut to Seattle.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though, was when I believe it was Kamala Harris and the Trump administration, when they were running, both ran on the mantra of no tax on tips. And it sounds good, right? Of course it does. No tax on tips, amazing. But of course when the bill initially passed last year, it was a lot of questions as well. How does this get implemented? And then eventually the Treasury Department and the IRS clarified the rules about it. So I mean, hey, any relief is good relief if you work on a job like a 1099 work that ties to taxes, right? You're going to you're going to make some more money and put it in your pocket, but it's only temporary for a couple years and it's a percentage only and it's capped. So would DSP, assuming he had his records correct and everything, yes, he would get some relief. That's assuming he had the records and his tax guy um, knew how to do it. So it's possible that he did get it. I imagine he asked. I'm pretty sure I recall him saying he was going to be asking his tax guy. So, did he do it though? I mean, unless someone can, hit him with a troll message without money attached and be like, "Hey, were you able to benefit from that? Benefit from that?" And he says, "Yo, yeah." Then we'll have an idea that yeah, he probably saved a couple thousand on his federal taxes. But it
I'm
doesn't extend to across the board all taxation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said on stream he's gonna wait till next year because it's not gonna take effect till next year. So I'm assuming January 2027 he's gonna go to his tax guy.
Oh, well, it went into effect in 2026. So if he didn't do it, he just threw away maybe saving a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he said it last year or this year, one of the two. But it's DSP though. He always DSPs things up.
Yeah. Well, it didn't go into effect until after tax season 2025. So it didn't. It passed in. I want to say it was June 2025, but it was effective for the filing for in 2026. So, but I mean, of course, he would have to have proper records to be able to account for this.
That
So
is true.
I don't know, because if you recall during his bankruptcy in the 341 hearing, and they're like, "Hey, you got your records are all a mesh of garbage." Because he doesn't keep separate accounts, business slash personal. So that totally made probably everything very complicated for him. So he may have just been like, again, it's too much work. But you know what? If I could save a couple $1,000s on my taxes, I will find the time to figure it out. But that's just me.
Now, based on what DSP made in June, do you see him playing more card games such as TCG and Pokemon and Dragon Quest and all the other cartoonish, kiddish games? Or do you
I
think
think
it's
that
going to
as
be
long
like
as
overload?
I think as long as the grift continues to pay off with card based streams and games, he is going to do it. As soon as those cards dry up, it's over. It's gone. He's going to be like, guys, we're going to put it on hiatus. We'll come back to it. And hiatus is essentially the death sentence because every time something goes on hiatus, it never comes back. Do you remember when he did the hook game, or excuse me, the fishing game, and he bought all the hooking ornaments? And he's like, "Well, put a new hooking ornament every time we hit the goal onto his fishing hat."
Oh yeah, Bassmaster.
Bassmaster. And then you know what happened is it dried up, and then all of a sudden, we put it on hiatus. We haven't seen Bassmaster. It's been 2 years,
Well, it's because
three
Derek's not
years.
there anymore. He suggested it.
Oh, that's true.
Everyone
That's right.
always made the joke too that oh, he forgot there was a B on the end, so he just thought it was Assmaster.
Oh yeah, I think he also had that one time he put the adult title into the chat. I think it was something like MILFs Take Miami or something.
Part 2.
Part two, yeah, because
Gotta see the
he's
sequel.
yeah, he probably has the entire series down. He's like, oh my gosh, part two is out. I gotta check on it.
And then, so have you been to Renton.report yet? The website?
I have been looking at it. I saw it on a stream by the wonderful Laura Diaz the other night. Maybe it was last night.
Oh, nice. Because we have here one of the things you can do is you can sort it by donations by game. And so this tracks since I think the beginning of March. So TCG Card Shop Simulator, $2,507, which equals to about 103.90 per hour for wage. And then even goes to 42.1 chats per minute and Baggin, 2.9 minutes per hour of Baggin. And then second place, Pokemon Fire Red, then Dragon Quest, RimWorld, Street Fighter 6, and Crimson Desert. So that tells you what games are working for him as well. Now, the Baggin is the highest is in Pokemon and Dragon Quest and TCG. So the games that he's bagging the most in is the games he's getting the money in. And then you got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Pokemon Champions. So I can see him absolutely begging like a crackhead once this actually blows up in his face because every single thing that Phil does eventually dries out. And the more it dries out, the more toxic he gets. So how long do you think it is gonna last for Pokemon and TCG Card Shop?
Well, I mean, last night we saw TCG Card Shop fail to hit a goal, and I think Pokemon Champions has now been faltering for him. So, Pokemon Diamond, I think, is still going strong for him, but I, I think it's going to start the peter out very soon at this rate. I don't see it lasting much longer because I think people are just finding it too egregious, and I think he's basically tapped the people that could really fund it to the point where they just can't pay him anymore. I give it a before July or before August. I think it wraps.
So what does he do after that then to try and make up for the Pokemon money?
Well, the question is he even really making money? Because if he's taking in all this cash for Pokemon, but he's spending thousands of dollars to get him, he might be better off without the Pokemon Grift because then that expense is wiped out. I mean, he's already in the hole probably at least $3,000 in cards. And God forbid he has a crippling gotcha addiction to these things now post dumping the cards. Because I think what he really loves is the fact that he can open these cards, he gets to keep the cards, and maybe he can make some money off of them, and it helps to feed that addiction. He won't even have that to help feed the addiction. So I think he'd actually be financially more well off without the Pokemon Grift because of all his costs and expenses, even though he's probably going to try to write them off. I believe that. He doesn't get any benefit from that until 2027. So he's in the hole by a lot of money.
So we have Pokemon Champions, $792 he made, which equals to 52.41 per hour and 4.4 minutes per hour of begging. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, 727.84 that he made, which equals to 40.13 per hour and 3.7 minutes of begging. TCG, we went over 2.9 minutes per hour of begging. And then you have Dragon Quest, 2.4 per minute of begging. And then Pokemon Fire Red, like he's begging like crazy during these Pokemon stuff. Now he has to find something between, let's say, for an example, you said like July or August is probably going to burn out. Between August and November, which is GTA 6, he has to have a certain grift. So, what do you think the next grift from DSP is?
I mean, maybe he'll go back to doing maybe he'll try to go back to doing more of those marathons. I used to believe that the marathons he tried to push, these gaming marathons, were a way to shore up his income for the month. And he hasn't really been doing them consistently in light of everything. He could try to go back to doing those once a month to try to fill in the hole for income, saying, hey guys, we're going to have a cool, chill marathon of Mega Man again or some other retro crap. There's really nothing like when I look at the schedule for the next couple months, there's really nothing overly interesting that I think his following would want to watch. So, and it's clear Resident Evil didn't help him. Resident Evil Code Veronica is kind of a dud for him. Uh,
It is weird.
I
Anything
don't.
that's not like kiddish Pokemon is just failing like crazy.
Maybe like Disney Princess, whatever it was a couple years ago.
Um, Dreamlight Valley or whatever, Disney Dreamlight Valley.
That's it.
Another
He did that
Derek
for
one.
Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek loved that. He's like, "Oh my God, Phil, make me a Disney princess." And it's like, I don't know, you're sounding kind of creepy there, Chief.
Now
I don't know what he does today, but he's out there.
that's so the whole thing about Derek too is he always has two monitors up, and this has been proven. One monitor is Phil, and one monitor is adult
The other
content.
stuff.
So if he has adult content on one and then Disney Dreamlight Valley on another, that's a very, very creepy thing to do.
Yeah, that's. I keep thinking that he's going to be the person that's going to end up on. You ever hear of like Alex Rosen and Predator Poachers or Skeet Hansen and
A Gideon?
I, yeah, he does them
Yeah.
too. I keep thinking he's gonna. I don't know if Canada has an equivalent to that to those guys in the U.S., but it makes me feel like he's gonna turn up on one of those shows one
Well,
day.
they've done international ones, so they've done Australia and Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it the same? I don't know if the rules are exactly the same in Canada regarding it, but I can't imagine it being too different if they, if they set someone up and
I'm
hey, we caught you here,
pretty
you know?
sure it's very, very similar. So I think it would be the same. Anything to get Derek off the streets, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I remember when he said he was once working at Toys R Us, I'm like, that sounds so sus.
Yeah, he was doing
'Cause
co-op at Toys R Us. So he was in school doing co-op.
that's crazy.
And then I guess someone sent a message to Katzbergs on Twitter about how Derek used to be very creepy in high school with people and then accidentally sent his exposed member selfie to people at school.
Wow, I didn't know about that, but
Yeah.
I guess I guess I guess I can't be surprised, but I do wonder if I keep thinking he's going to end up on one of these Predator shows at some point, getting caught.
And another good thing about this one, so this website is so it started on March 3rd. Oh, sorry, March 8th. So there is 112 hours and 10 minutes of dead air on his content since then. And that's in 737 hours.
That's wild.
6,653 bands and begging 19 hours and 35 minutes.
That's so insane how much is happening here. Oh, my goodness. It's amazing how DSP and the quartering have like such detailed applications built for them. It's really fascinating. It's like 21st century A logging at its finest.
Yeah. Do you know who created this website? Because I really want to give them a shout out and credit for this.
No idea. It just showed up one day because I saw it being mentioned on Twitter, and I thought, "Oh, that's an interesting name." And I was like, I didn't really look at it until I saw Laura Diaz looking at it yesterday, and I'm like, "Huh, okay, cool,
Yeah, because
interesting."
you can click on like the individual one. So this is the one that just happened, June 30th. So look at all the stats in here. So you got segments in here, you got break, you got podcasts, and then you got donation, unique chatters. Like whoever did this, this is amazing. Average viewers, peak viewers, and then you have donations by viewers in the wheel here. And then
Yeah,
you got all the bands.
I'm assuming the donations is probably just platform support because the tips don't route through anything they could probably pull from it, like an API.
Yeah, so we have so let's see here. So you can do donations here. So you got all moderation, Kick, YouTube donations. So you can see here, oh, this person, oh, that's a band probably. These pack schools are no different. You got Bilbo Swaggins, your future stepdad again. So he did another one there. You got Kicks. This person's just, oh, that's 1 penny. That's why. Oh, they actually track the pennies on here too. And anonymous.
Interesting.
I've never seen anything like this before.
This is incredible details.
I'm surprised they could actually track the penny. You know who would benefit the most from this website? Is Phil. You can actually track his stuff on here.
Oh yeah. I
And
wonder if they're manually entering the tips then. Look at that.
look at anonymous. So this is from March 3rd or whatever. So 6,677. And they also say on here how many messages they did. So 0 message from anonymous. But that's a tip, so you can't really track that. But Joseph Pardon, 1,800. But then you go down here. Jay Hayes, 51 messages, $700. Just from March 10th, 2026. And then you have NDO, 5 messages, 558. But then you have that's Dr. Alexis, 0 messages. Frank Jim, 0 messages, but almost $400 there. And they even have like whales and subs. They got banned on here, so This is an amazing thing in here. And
Yeah,
there's
this is pretty neat.
also so you can actually search it. So you know how Pig Go does stuff? You can actually search in here. So you can actually search denying that banana comes in denim and it brings it up. And he also has all the DMs. So you got PPP, Worski, Darziak, both of them on here. One from X, one from Discord. So if you're watching this video on demand and you know who made this website, please let me know so I can give them proper credit because this is amazing. And then you can even do charts in here. So moderation chat, miscellaneous, so segments, backgrounds, and all that. Like this is amazing. Like you can go through all the streams and everything. It's got the how long they were, but man, that is amazing. So I think that's all I have for today. Unless you want to say anything, you want to ask anything.
Well, the only thing I have to ask is, did you see his little hit fit about the sock accounts for whales the other day? Yesterday?
I don't believe I saw that. What was it about?
It's the one where he was talking about where he says, "Hey, it's a troll conspiracy if we say that individuals are other individuals, but yet he's acknowledged within the 24-hour span that, oh yes, I do know that people use different accounts to give me money."
Oh yeah, the sock account rant.
That was really entertaining to me. That, it's just amazing how fast he can just change his mind and basically, you know, tell one story and then have trouble keeping the narrative straight within 24 hours. That's nuts to me, man.
Well, it's amazing how he can retcon things in his head and he thinks he can change reality. So he'll say stuff on stream and then like a few moments later, or even weeks or months, and say, I never said that. It's on video, Phil. Like we can all go back and watch it. For an example, I think he said he retconned that he didn't get Jasper until after he was married now.
See, I remember he got caught with Jasper prior because people were suspecting that they heard a cat bell months prior to his stream, and then suddenly he acted like, oh my gosh, here's the Jasper reveal in August 2020 or 2019, I believe. Yeah. But he also can't travel anywhere either with Jasper, right? He has Jasper at home, but yeah, he went to Connecticut last year. It's just a lie after lie after lie.
And then also we got a rant today about again fake tipping. Why would I do that? They're just losers. They don't know what they're talking about. There's no reason to do it. And you know when Phil goes off the rails like that and he gets really defensive, you know there's some truth to it.
That's the thing, isn't there? It's the nugget of truth. It's kind of like the whole diaper thing. Everyone knows that's silly, but then now it's like, is it really?
And also like even people that don't believe he's wearing a diaper are gonna say it just to get under his skin and make him rant and rave.
Yeah, as soon as he acknowledged it, it was like, dude, you just you now he's gonna have to own the meme. You're telling me he's not gonna have a diaper icon soon?
Yeah, but at the same time, then, oh, if he acknowledges that, that means there's a possibility he could, as a joke, wear a diaper on screen one day, and I don't want to see that.
I mean, he can be like what's his face? That other LOLCOW, or I guess he's more of a horror cow. What is it, Andrew Ditch?
Oh yeah, Andy Ditch.
Yeah, that guy is I don't I would probably tell people don't look into him too much, but man, that guy is special.
Yeah, in many different ways.
Yeah, I don't know how he hasn't been locked up for wasting police resources and emergency services time on nonsense. Like that alone, I don't get it.
I think if he was a sane person that didn't have a specialness to him, I think they would have. Same thing with Cyrax. I think I want to say a year or two ago, they're saying that the cops got called on him like 150 times or something like that.
Wow,
And
that's
then
crazy.
there was one time where someone called in a bomb threat on at his house. So like the whole bomb team came out and There was like people in hazmat suits just in case there's like bio weapons or something like that. It was just insane.
Yeah, I know very little about Cyrax, but from what I've heard, I'm just like I'm not interested in knowing anymore.
Trust me, you don't want to go down that hole. It's very, very weird. You are not prepared for anything. All I'll say is bed bites in certain lower areas and also fidget spinners. That's all I'll say.
Ugh. And he also just seems so creepy looking too. It's really freaky. Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of cows out there that are it's weird because it's almost like a passing of the torch for the cows. So you got like LTG, you got let's say Wings of Redemption, DSP, RTU, the old OG cows. Now you got the whole new wave of new cows, World of T-shirts, Cyrax, Nova Online, all these people who are getting more attention. And it's almost like they're phasing out the old cows and giving the new cows more attention.
Yeah, but there always will be a new Cal at some point. I mean, it looks like Angry Joe is going to be the next one coming in, and the quartering will probably linger on for the next year at least. I mean, his story is just going to get worse and worse right now after his financial collapse. So it's just the beginning of the end for him, I suppose.
Well, same thing that we were talking with Jay Hayes with the copyright strikes. Even if it's not him or he's encouraging people to do it or whatever, people doing it in his name, it's not a good look. Especially when you say, I can take down your channel, no problem, and then their channel goes down. Of course, they're going to look at you first.
Yeah, but I believe that the Kino Casino Clips channel was taken down by him because it's clear he does have some pull at YouTube because he spends a ton of money on ads that we discovered.
Well, it's not a coincidence that every single time someone streams about him, all of a sudden they have a strike on it.
Oh, there's that too, but at the same time, I don't believe he's behind all of them. I do believe there's some people that may not like some of the parties talking about him or just using it as a method to hide behind it too.
Yeah, and the more that the new cows get attention, that means the less that DSP does. And less attention means lower support, lower engagement, lower money, and that's gonna piss him off so much.
I do agree. But, we'll see what happens to Phil moving forward in July. I am going to stick by my belief that the grift dies in July though. I just can't see it dragging on much longer, but if he picked up a legitimate Pokemon card addiction, that's going to be really alarming because that's probably worse than WWE champions. He actually has something physical to hold on to.
Yeah, he went from digital JPEGs to physical JPEGs.
Pretty much, I would say so.
But then
But hey,
again, there's the
that's
mobile game for Pokemon Champions now.
oh yeah, we're going to see what happens with that. I bet you he's playing it.
Oh, I have no doubt. Even today, he was saying, I quit all mobile games. I don't play any. And usually when he gets like that, it's like, okay, you're just lying now. We know it. Because like 2 weeks ago, he said, well, I have a couple I just play when I'm bored.
Yeah, it changes all the time. He said that before. He's like, "Oh, I told my wife I'm giving him up," and it's like, "Okay, I actually do play some, and I do play champions," and then it's just a slippery slope, and he tells on himself.
So I
Mm-mm-mm.
think that's all today. So also, JG has a YouTube channel. So I'm going to put it in chat here. So go subscribe to him, go watch his stuff. And thank you, my friend, for coming out. And it's very,
Sure thing.
very fun,
Appreciate it.
very informative. And I had a fun time. And hope everyone else in the chat had a fun time. And anything you want to say before you go?
No, other than hopefully you have a good holiday tomorrow. I think it's a holiday for you and anyone else that's celebrating tomorrow, and also the 4th of July. Hope you have a good holiday weekend. I think it's tomorrow for you guys, and for us it's Saturday.
Yes, tomorrow is Canada Day.
So hopefully you have a good Canada Day if anyone else is from Canada. And 4th of July, hopefully it's a good time for us. Even though it's supposedly be all pretty hot on the next couple days, but take care of yourselves.
Okay? You have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you.
All
Bye.
right. Okay, guys, I think that was really good. That was fun. You guys have fun with that? Seeing DSP's numbers and all that? Talking about all his finances. So, guys, yes, Canada. So, that was the season finale of the Robust podcast. I'm going to take off July and August to do the podcast. I'll come back possibly in September or October. I'm still going to stream though. So I think like Thursday coming up, I'm going to do like one of those morning shows I used to do, react to DSP in the morning, react to some stuff on Twitter and Kick. So we're still going to do streams, but there's so many people I want to interview on this podcast. You know, I don't think I'll ever get them, but Evil AJ, I would love to interview Tevin, Urban Style Individual. I would like to have a talk with Duty Streams about some things. But yeah, I'm open to talking to anyone. So again, guys, if you have any suggestions for me to interview anyone, just let me know. If you're watching as a video, let me know in the video. If you're ever in a live stream of mine, definitely let me know. On YouTube, this is going to be the end of the stream. However, if you're still on Kick or Twitch, we are going to play some horror games. So if you're on Twitch or Kick, stay around. We'll play those. And yeah, we'll do that. And thank you guys for coming out. And as always, I'll see you guys Thursday when we do our quote unquote morning show. I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy.